Hey, what's up, everyone? Jonathan Allen here at Floodwater Studios. Today, we're talking about dirty bass guitar. Now, if you're just getting into the home studio world, I just want to let you know that we are here at Floodwater to help you utilize your current space to create the music that you want to make. And everything is so affordable nowadays, you can get to your end result a lot faster than you think. So why don't you head over to floodwaterstudios.com/home studio, grab our free home studio equipment guide to get you started on your home studio journey today. That being said, let's hop into Studio One real quick here. This is a song we've been working on for a client, and I want to talk about bass for just a minute here. Bass is very integral to a lot of songs. Pretty much any song that has a bass guitar in it, it's a very important piece, glues everything together, and we want to make sure that we can hear and articulate everything throughout the entire tune. So soloed here, we're just going to listen to the bass real quick. This is the bass tone we got going in to Studio One here. All right, so it's pretty deep to start with. I have an Ibanez bass that we use here in the studio, and it's got some great girth to it, essentially. So let's take a look at how we EQ'd this a little bit. Just the bass itself, and then we'll start making some tweaks for things. So grab your headphones real quick, because if you're listening on your phone or if you're listening on computer speakers, so like laptop speakers, something like that, you're probably not going to hear some of this. If you're on studio monitors or headphones, you're going to hear a good representation. So let's pop some cans on real quick here. Now, this is the basic EQ that we did for this. So we did a shelf boost coming around 63 hertz down. We cut 144 around here a little bit, and then we boosted some of the higher mid frequencies to get some of that string buzz, the finger action for everything. So a lot of times when people think bass, they're not really thinking the extreme low end. They're more so thinking that the low end is around those low mids. So let's solo some of these out and hear what they're actually presenting to us for everything. So let's take a listen to the low mid frequencies. We're just going to solo this in our EQ here. So you would think it would kind of be a little lower because it's a bass, but it's actually a little higher in the register as a bass goes. So it's kind of sitting in our vocal range, where if we listen to the low frequencies themselves, that, like I said, if you're listening on a phone, you didn't hear that. If you're listening on like computer, laptop speakers, you may have heard something. But it's definitely there. And that's really what's going to warm your sub if you're playing through subs. It's going to push that sub there for those frequencies in itself. So what I like to do with bass to get a better push in the tune itself is I will shelf this a little bit here, and then I'll drop those low mid frequencies. And like I said, up here, we can listen. There's not a lot of information that we can hear except during the runs that were played. And we can kind of zoom in here and see if we can find one of the runs so we can get that. I'm just going to magnify this a little bit here. So there's a little bit of information there. But during those little runs, that's where we get a little bit more. So I like to boost that a little bit so we can hear that. You hear more of that information there. Now, one thing that I have learned over the years and have grown to love is clean bass ain't that great. So what I like to do is on this track, I'm going to grab a distortion. So in Studio One, we have our red light distortion. It gives you some really good tones for things. Now, this is where we can start to manipulate some things where we're getting a little more overtones to some of those higher frequencies. And it just gives us a little bit more information to work with and to hear and help it stand out in the mix for everything. So we're going to go down. I like to go into the fuzz. We can bring the drive up just a little bit. We're not going to have the mix at 100% because we kind of want to blend this in a little bit. So you can hear, especially during those runs, they're a little bit more defined because the distortion is creating more of those overtones and things that are making what a distortion does happen. Now, another thing that you could really do is if you wanted to more so blend the bass in with everything, you can take this distortion. We're just going to remove that, and we're actually going to right click and duplicate the track completely. Now, this you have to be careful with because when you're duplicating this track right off the bat, you're going to double the volume for everything. So that being said, our distorted bass here, so we were going to call this dirty bass. What we want to do, grab that red light distortion again. Here we're going to go back to fuzz. We're going to pull that drive up. I'm going to leave the mix at 100% on this one, and we're going to mess with the output and the volume of this channel together with the clean bass to help things kind of force through and punch through. So you can hear, if we just kind of highlight this section here, and then we're going to take a listen. That's clean. So you can hear the da-na. It's more defined when we have that distortion in there. Now, if we listen with the entire track now, we can hear, we'll just play the clean bass with everything. We'll leave the distorted off. Now, this tune was recorded live, so the artist was playing guitar and singing at the same time. So I have the vocals muted, but we're gonna hear some of the vocal through the acoustic itself. It's just the nature of the beast for that. So we'll just go ahead and mute the vocals and the background vocals. We just want the instrumentation here. All right, so the bass is present, it's there, but there's not a lot of definition with it. Let's see if we can get this definition to come through by blending in this distorted bass with it. that definitely gives it so much more definition, especially for those little run parts, those little walk-ups. If you listen right here. Dirty bass is where it's at. So what do you guys think about this? What are your kind of tips and tricks that you use to help bass kind of stick out and really capture those higher frequencies that the bass has to offer that usually get neglected? Let me know down in the comments section below. Until then, hope you guys have a wonderful day, and then obviously go record something. See ya.